My hair kind of a mess. I dated someone who once called me 27 times in a row. 27 times in a row because I didn't text back. Okay, y'all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you don't know me or you're new here, I'm Alexi, and there's a lot more to me than the relationships I've been in, but that's what makes me an expert in today's topic. So let's get into it, because today I really just want to share some of the things. It's definitely not a comprehensive list, but some of the big things that I used to think were totally normal. Like literally, I thought they were so normal. I never questioned them until very recently when I started intensive therapy, that now I realize they were actually trauma responses shaped entirely by my upbringing, my childhood with narcissistic parents, but also shaped by the narcissistic partners that I was with at the time. So honestly, guys, this video is for anyone who needs it, but it's for anyone who is trying to unlearn what love shouldn't feel like and find what is normal and good for them. So let's get back to talking about signs you're in a toxic relationship and you are experiencing trauma responses, not actually love, and things that you might think are your fault, but they're not your fault. Take it from me, an expert, still engaged. Somehow I'm still engaged, which honestly, kudos to me, because frankly, I'm a lot to put up with, and I'm just grateful that Zachary puts up with me. It's 1:11. Hello to the universe, our spirit guides and guardian angels. But anyway, I'm still engaged, so that makes me more of an expert, because I somehow, hold on, let me scoot back. Not only did I live to tell the tale of being in toxic relationships, multiple relationships with an S, I somehow found the best person in the entire universe, and they love me in a way that I love them, and now we're engaged for eternity. Let me pull up my notes so I don't get any of this shit wrong. I'm not gonna lie, guys, I'm mostly excited for Love Island to premiere tonight because ooh, I love reality TV. It's a new-ish love, and Zach and I got so into the most recent season of Love Island USA, like literally everybody else. But I fell in love with Ariana Madix when the whole Scandival situation happened in Vanderpump Rules. And if you have no idea what I'm saying, that's totally fine. When I heard that Ariana Madix was hosting Love Island USA, I was like, oh, I have to watch this show that I have avoided for years and years. Fell in love with it, watched all like 37 episodes with Zach last summer. And so now this summer, we're back on the Love Island train, and I'm so pumped. Talk about toxic relationships. So that's sort of why we're talking about this today, because I've been thinking about this topic in anticipation of Love Island coming back. We've also been watching The Valley, and that is the most chaotic, dramatic show ever. And we both just look at each other and we're like, thank God we love each other. Thank God we love each other. Like, truly, thank God, because the alternative is much worse. And again, I know from personal experience, but watching it play out on television, like, my ex is like Jax Taylor. Yikes! So if you know, you know. And that's like, and yeah. Anyway, moving on. That's sort of why we're talking about this today, and also just because I think it's a good time to make sure the girlies know what's good and what you deserve. So let's get into it. So the first one, I used to think that jealousy was the same thing as love. Literally, it's embarrassing to admit, but I truly used to be someone who thought that, like, oh my God, if my boyfriend is jealous and like acting a little crazy, then like that means he cares and he really likes me. Or like, if he's pulling away from me, it's obviously my fault and there's clearly no other answer beyond pointing the finger at me. I used to think that if he got possessive, it meant that he cared, that when I was jealous, I should lean into it because it would show him that I cared. That's not love, obviously. That's literally just control. And you shouldn't want to control someone else. You definitely shouldn't want to control the person you're claiming to love and be in a relationship with willingly. And obviously, I really kind of saw at the end of the day that ultimately that jealousy was kind of just fear disguised as passion. And I didn't want to live in a state of fear anymore and a state of jealousy. It really is sad to say, but I don't think that I have been in love with anyone that I've dated until my current relationship with Zach, because I was just living in survival mode and I was purely living off adrenaline, and my entire life was dictated by a flight or fight framework and lens. I just recently came out of survival mode. I've never had to be in survival mode in this relationship with Zach. I feel so safe and stable and protected, and like we're on the same page and the same team. But in every other relationship, I kid you not, we were fully on these toxic up and down cycles. And I was living in survival mode, and you really cannot love someone else when you're in that situation. Okay, the second thing, I'm so guilty of this, and this was classic about my childhood. My parents, my household was very hot and cold. So normalizing hot and cold behavior and viewing hot and cold behavior as just a normal part of a loving relationship. That is wrong. That is wrong. That is wrong. Life is so exhausting when you're in a touch and go situation, or one day someone likes you, the next day they don't like you. One afternoon they're yelling at you, 10 seconds later they're happy and in love. It is so exhausting. And I literally used to tell myself, especially in my early 20s in relationships, I used to tell myself, like, oh my God, the hot and cold cycles, I never even labeled them as hot and cold. I just was like, wow, we have such intense passion. Like the highs are so high and the lows are so low because our passion for each other is just so intense, and we're so in love and he's so in touch with his feelings. Let me say this for myself in the past and for the people in the back. Chaos is not chemistry, okay? And it will never be chemistry. And do not confuse it for chemistry. I was trauma bonded to all of these dudes. We were not like passionately in love. We were just like constantly playing out a trauma bonded cycle with two fucked up people trying their best to hurt the other person. Number three, believing I had to prove to the other person that I was worth staying for. I constantly felt like they were always moving the goalposts and being like, okay, well, now you have to do this in order to prove to me that you're worthy. And now you have to do that in order to show me that this relationship is serious and you want to be in it. And I always felt like I was almost lucky to be chosen by them. I mean, I definitely felt that way with my ex. And that sucks to admit. And it's embarrassing to admit, but whatever. I'm human and we only get one shot at this. So I'm going to take up space and share my stories. I definitely felt like I was lucky to be chosen by him in the beginning, because I told myself all these stories about how I was worthless and he was worthy and all these things. The reality is that my ex, all of my exes, to be fair, needed me to doubt myself so that he could stay in control of the relationship and could control me more easily. If I doubted myself and kind of made myself smaller or was unsure of even like making decisions, I just became really easy to control and manipulate. And of course, when they saw me trying to prove that I was worthy, they could use all of that against me. And it was a never ending cycle. Again, very exhausting, not love. Number four, I I always felt like I was the only one who needed to change. I was obsessive with self-help articles, books, journaling, different practices, therapy. And I was like, I'm just going to change every single thing about me that is wrong or negative, and then I will be perfect. And there will be no question that this relationship will then work and be amazing, and we'll live happily ever after, and everything will be smooth and lovely and rainbows and unicorns and kittens all the time. It came to a point where I had done so much damn therapy. I was looking around like, Lexi, you have worked on so much stuff. What is he doing? Why are things still so bad? If you know how to communicate better, if you're taking accountability, if you're figuring out how to like be a better partner and person for yourself and the other person, then why are things still so bad? I had totally gaslit myself and was like, you're the one who needs to change. And once you change, then everything will magically be better. That never happened. That literally never happened. I used to just be like, oh my God, he's not that bad. I just need to communicate better. Or like, he wouldn't act that way if I didn't have feelings. I was just totally gaslit into carrying like the entire emotional weight of the relationship. And that really blows. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. But honestly, you live and you learn. Okay, number 5. I used to love doing this, and I totally thought it was like, again, a sign of passion and chemistry and connection. I used to mistake trauma dumping for vulnerability. So I would be like, oh my God, he told me about how much this breakup hurt him in the past, and now I feel totally responsible for his healing. Or he told me about some, childhood story that pulled at my heartstrings, and so now I'm going to be his protector and his mom. Obviously, those are all red flags on my end and things that were unhealthy for me to do. I would often stop acting like their girlfriend and start acting like their therapist, their mom, their boss, their editor, their friend, whatever they needed. I was like, I will be that person and I live to serve you. Because if you're trauma dumping and telling me these things, you're being vulnerable. And oh my God, now I can fix it. Not only can I fix myself, but I can fix you and I can help you. And you don't even have to help yourself. I got it. Every single one of those relationships ended, thank God, because I'm again engaged to the love of my life. He liked it, so he put a ring on it, and literally we're never, ever, 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 ever going to be apart. All of those relationships ended for many reasons, but the clear reason is that none of that was love. And I wasn't in love, and they weren't in love. And oftentimes I low-key, high-key think we actually just hated each other, and we didn't know what to do about that. It's not funny, but like we didn't know what to do about that or how to process it. Okay, wait, I wrote down this example that I have to share, even though it makes me cringe to this day. That really just, I feel like exemplifies this whole first section. I dated someone who once called me 27 times in a row. 27 times in a row because I didn't text back. 27 times. I remember at the time being like, this is actually insane and I am terrified of this person. But then I very quickly like manipulated myself and was manipulated by them into thinking that actually that was a sign of love and that he cares about me. That's why he was calling so much. But honestly, from an early age, but especially in all these relationships, I was really just being trained to equate obsession with care. And that is absolutely not true. And I am so glad. I am so glad that Zach is not obsessed with me. I am so happy. It is such a green flag, and it is one of the best parts about our relationship and about him. He is not obsessed with me. He is healthy. He has his own life, his own friends, his own family, his own shit going on. He's not obsessed with me. And he cares about me so deeply and respects me so deeply and loves me so wholly and fully every day. So I would never want to be in one of those relationships again. And all of that was incredibly toxic. Okay, here's the thing about like actual promising, happy, normal relationships that are not toxic. It isn't ever about proving yourself to be worthy or valuable. It isn't about getting punished or disappearing when you need them most. And it definitely never requires you to become a smaller version of yourself. And I used to think being smaller was the way to keep peace. And it obviously is not. Okay, guys, thanks for hanging in. I know it was kind of a serious subject today, but obviously we need to get into it and it's super important. Again, especially as we're heading into reality TV season and we love watching all these toxic ass couples on TV. It can be a nightmare because it reminds me a lot of my past relationships, and it's good to see it from afar at the same time because I can reflect so much on all of the bullshit and BS that I put up with before and all the things that I normalized and lied to myself about too. So hopefully this was helpful. Make sure you subscribe, share with a friend who needs it, and we'll see you next time. Be good to yourself and others, or else. Bye, guys.